The stars looked cold and distant through the viewport of the UNS Shadow Walker as Captain Jake Morrison watched his crew work. It was the year 2387, and humanity had been part of the Galactic Federation for almost 200 years now, but they still felt like the new kids on the block. Most alien species treated humans with polite tolerance at best and open suspicion at worst. Jake ran his hand through his brown hair and checked the mission reports again. Their job was simple enough: survey the outer rim territories near the Kepler 442 system and report back on any unusual energy readings that Federation sensors had picked up 3 weeks ago. It was routine work that paid the bills and kept his small crew busy. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Parker looked up from her tactical station. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a regulation ponytail, and her blue eyes showed the same boredom that Jake felt. "Still nothing on long-range sensors, Captain," she said in her crisp voice. "Whatever caused those energy spikes seems to have gone quiet." "Keep scanning," Jake replied. "The Federation doesn't pay us to come back empty-handed." At the engineering station, Chief Tony Rodriguez wiped grease from his hands with an old rag. The stocky man had been keeping ships running for 20 years and could make almost anything work with spare parts and determination. "Engines are running smooth, Captain," he called out. "But I still think this whole trip is a waste of time. Probably just some old probe malfunctioning." Amy Chen looked up from her communications console. The young Asian woman had joined the crew fresh out of the Federation Academy and still believed they might find something important out here. "I'm picking up some strange interference patterns," she said. "It's very faint, but there's definitely something artificial about it." Dr. Kevin Walsh emerged from his small laboratory looking excited. The thin man with graying hair served as their xenobiologist and loved nothing more than discovering new forms of alien life. "The energy readings are definitely not natural," he announced. "The spectral analysis shows technology signatures unlike anything in our databases." Jake felt his interest spike. Finding unknown technology was rare and valuable. Most species in the galaxy had been spacefaring for thousands of years, and new discoveries were becoming increasingly uncommon. "Can you get a fix on the source?" he asked Amy. "Working on it," she replied as her fingers danced across her console. "The signal is coming from the asteroid belt around the fourth planet. It's intermittent, but I think I can triangulate the position." Lisa stood up and moved to Jake's side. "Captain, if there's unknown technology out there, we should be careful. Could be a trap or some kind of automated defense system." Jake nodded. Lisa was right to be cautious, but curiosity was getting the better of him. "Tony, bring us in slow and keep the engines ready for a quick exit." "Amy, I want continuous scans of everything in that belt." "Kevin, start preparing your analysis equipment." The Shadow Walker moved deeper into the asteroid field with all sensors active. The rocky debris ranged in size from pebbles to small moons and provided plenty of places for something to hide. Jake watched the view screen as they navigated between the larger asteroids following Amy's signal trace. "I'm getting stronger readings now," Amy announced. "Bearing 27 Mark IV. Distance approximately 50,000 kilometers. On screen," Jake ordered. The main view screen shifted to show a massive asteroid that looked different from the others around it. Its surface seemed to shimmer and bend light in ways that hurt to look at directly. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface and energy discharges flickered across its hull like alien lightning. "That's not an asteroid," Lisa said quietly. Dr. Walsh was practically bouncing with excitement. "It's a ship," he exclaimed. "Look at those hull configurations and the energy matrix patterns. This is definitely artificial, but I've never seen anything like it." Jake stared at the alien vessel in wonder. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of the Shadow Walker and shaped like nothing in Federation records. The hull seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, making it difficult to focus on any single detail. "How old do you think it is?" Jake asked. Kevin was running scans as fast as his equipment would allow. "Preliminary dating suggests at least 50,000 years, he said with awe in his voice. "This predates every known galactic civilization. Captain, this could be the archaeological find of the century." "Any signs of life?" Lisa asked. "Negative," Amy replied. "No life signs, no active power systems, and no response to our hails. Whatever this ship was, it's been dead for a very long time." Jake made his decision. "Prep a shuttle. Lisa, you're with me along with Kevin. Tony and Amy monitor from here and be ready to pull us out if anything goes wrong." 20 minutes later, Jake found himself floating in zero gravity inside the alien vessel. Their shuttle had docked with what appeared to be an airlock, though the mechanism was unlike anything human engineers had ever designed. The interior corridors were filled with breathable atmosphere that their scanners said was safe. The ship's design was bewildering. Walls curved in impossible directions and surfaces that looked solid could be walked through, while others that appeared transparent were harder than steel. Kevin was taking readings constantly while Lisa kept her weapon ready. "The technology level here is incredible," Kevin whispered as they moved deeper into the ship. "Look at these materials. They're designed to interact with space-time itself." They reached what appeared to be the ship's command center. Ancient control surfaces covered the walls, and a central chair sat before displays that still flickered with alien symbols. Kevin immediately began scanning everything while Jake tried to make sense of the layout. "Captain," Lisa called from across the room. "You need to see this." She was standing before a wall covered in symbols and images. The pictures showed a race of tall, thin beings with large eyes and elongated limbs. Below the images were star charts and what looked like technical diagrams. These beings called themselves the Void Walkers, Kevin said as his translator worked on the symbols. They were apparently the dominant species in this galaxy before any of our current civilizations existed. Jake studied the images. "What happened to them? I'm not sure yet, but these technical readouts are fascinating. They developed something called the Phantom Protocol. From what I can understand, it was some kind of advanced stealth technology that could make their ships completely undetectable." "How undetectable?" Lisa asked. Kevin frowned as he read more data, not just invisible to sensors. According to this, they could phase their ships partially out of normal space-time. They could pass through solid matter and exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. A chill ran down Jake's spine. Technology like that would be incredibly valuable and incredibly dangerous. "Can you download this information?" "Already working on it," Kevin replied. "But Captain, there's something else. These final logs mention that they created the Phantom Protocol as a defensive measure against some threat. Something forced them to develop this technology as a last resort." Before Jake could respond, Amy's voice crackled through their comm units. "Captain, we've got company. 3 ships just dropped out of hyperspace and they're heading straight for us." Jake cursed under his breath. "What kind of ships?" "Hegemony vessels, Captain. They're demanding we surrender our findings and prepare to be boarded." The Hegemony was a militant faction that opposed human membership in the Federation. They believed humans were too primitive and dangerous to be trusted with advanced technology. If they were here, it meant someone had leaked information about their discovery. "How long until they reach us?" Jake asked. 15 minutes, Amy replied. "Kevin, how much more time do you need?" "At least 30 minutes to download everything." Jake looked at Lisa, who was already checking her weapon. "We're not giving this up without a fight. Lisa, get us back to the shuttle. Kevin, grab whatever data you can carry." As they raced back through the alien corridors, Jake's mind was spinning. The Voidwalker technology could change the balance of power in the galaxy. In human hands, it could finally give them the respect they deserved. But first, they had to survive long enough to get it home. The shuttle bay doors were already opening as they reached their craft. Behind them, the ancient alien ship continued its silent vigil among the asteroids, keeping its secrets for 50,000 years. Until humans had finally found them. Now the real adventure was about to begin. The Shadow Walker shook violently as Hegemony weapons fire struck their rear shields. Jake gripped his command chair while Tony pushed the engines beyond their normal limits. They had barely escaped the asteroid field before the alien warships caught up to them. "Shields down to 60%, Lisa reported from her tactical station. "Those Hegemony cruisers have some serious firepower, Captain." Jake watched the pursuing ships on his rear display. Commander Zeftar was leading the chase personally in his flagship, and the Krillian warrior was known for never giving up once he smelled blood. The reptilian aliens considered humans to be nothing more than clever animals who had stolen their way into galactic society. "Amy, send a priority message to Federation Command," Jake ordered. "Tell them we've discovered Voidwalker technology and need immediate support." "Already sent, Captain, but it will take at least 6 hours for any Federation ships to reach us," Amy replied while monitoring her communications board. Kevin was hunched over his portable data unit, trying to make sense of the information they had downloaded from the alien vessel. His hands shook with excitement as ancient secrets revealed themselves on his screen. "Captain, this technology is beyond anything we imagined," he said breathlessly. "The Voidwalkers didn't just achieve invisibility, they found a way to exist between dimensions." "What does that mean exactly?" Jake asked while watching their pursuers gain ground. According to these files, they could phase their ships out of normal space-time, Kevin explained. Not just hiding from sensors, but actually existing in a parallel dimension where they could pass through solid matter and move undetected through enemy territory. Lisa looked up from her weapons console. That would explain how they dominated the galaxy for so long. How do you fight an enemy you can't see or touch? The question is what happened to them. Kevin continued reading. These logs suggest they encountered something that forced them to develop the Phantom Protocol as an emergency measure. Some kind of threat that conventional weapons couldn't handle. Tony's voice came over the intercom from engineering. Captain, I'm pushing these engines as hard as I can, but those hegemony ships are still gaining. We need a miracle or we're going to end up as space dust. Jake made a quick decision. Set course for the Luna Base research facility. If we can make it there, the defensive platforms might keep the hegemony away long enough for us to turn over this data. Luna Base is 3 days away at maximum speed, Lisa pointed out. Those cruisers will catch us long before then. Then we better hope Kevin can figure out something useful from those files, Jake replied grimly. For the next several hours, the Shadow Walker ran through space with the hegemony ships slowly but steadily closing the distance. Kevin worked frantically to decode more of the Voidwalker archives, while the rest of the crew tried to squeeze every bit of performance from their aging vessel. I'm finding something interesting here, Kevin announced during their second day of running. The Voidwalkers ran into problems with their Phantom Protocol technology. It seems that using it for extended periods caused some kind of psychological effects on the crew. What kind of effects? Jake asked. Memory loss, temporal displacement, and in some cases complete detachment from reality. Kevin read from his screen. The technology required the user to exist partially outside normal space-time, and most Voidwalker minds couldn't handle the strain. Amy looked worried. That doesn't sound very encouraging for us. Actually, it might be, Kevin said with growing excitement. Look at these neural compatibility charts. Voidwalker brain patterns were highly ordered and logical. The chaos of existing between dimensions drove them insane because they couldn't adapt to the contradictions. And human brains are different, Lisa asked. Completely different, Kevin confirmed. Human neural patterns are chaotic, adaptable, and highly resistant to psychological stress. We might actually be better suited to use this technology than its original creators. Jake felt a spark of hope. Can you figure out how it works? I'm trying, but the control systems are incredibly complex, Kevin replied. The Voidwalkers used a combination of quantum mechanics, dimensional physics, and something they called consciousness bridging to operate the Phantom Protocol. The third day of their escape run, they finally reached Federation space, but the hegemony ships were still in pursuit. Commander Zeftar's voice came over their communications demanding surrender and threatening to destroy them if they didn't comply immediately. Luna Base, this is Captain Morrison, requesting emergency docking, Jake transmitted. We're carrying classified materials and need immediate protection. Shadow Walker. This is Admiral Patricia Hayes, came the reply from Luna Base. We've been expecting you. Proceed to Docking Base 7 and prepare for immediate transfer to our secure research facility. Jake had heard of Admiral Hayes. She was one of the few high-ranking Federation officers who believed humans deserved equal treatment in galactic affairs. If anyone could protect them and their discovery, it would be her. The Luna-based defensive platforms powered up as the hegemony ships approached Federation territory. Commander Zeftar's flagship stopped just outside the boundary, but Jake knew the Krillian wouldn't give up easily. The alien commander would be back with more ships and probably the backing of the Hegemony High Council. 2 hours later, Jake found himself in a secure briefing room deep inside Luna Base. Admiral Hayes was a stern woman with gray hair and sharp eyes who listened carefully as Kevin explained their discovery. Also present were Dr. Alex Turner, a theoretical physicist who specialized in dimensional mechanics, and Commander Ryan Phillips, a test pilot known for taking on impossible missions. Show me everything, Admiral Hayes commanded after Kevin finished his initial report. Kevin activated his portable display and the room filled with holographic images of Voidwalker technology. Ancient star charts, technical diagrams, and symbolic writings covered the walls while the team studied humanity's greatest archaeological discovery. This is incredible, Dr. Turner whispered as he examined the dimensional equations. They found a way to create controlled rifts in space-time itself. The energy requirements alone should have been impossible. Commander Phillips was more practical in his approach. "Can we build one?" he asked bluntly. "That's what we need to find out," Admiral Hayes replied. "Dr. Turner, I want you working with Dr. Walsh to understand the theoretical framework." Commander Phillips started thinking about how we might adapt this technology to human spacecraft. Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "Admiral, what about the hegemony? They know we found something and they won't stop until they get it." "Let me worry about Commander Zeftar," Admiral Hayes said firmly. "Your job is to help our people understand this technology before someone else figures it out." Over the next few weeks, the research team worked around the clock to decode Voidwalker secrets. Dr. Turner made the first breakthrough when he realized that the Phantom protocol didn't actually move ships between dimensions, but created a quantum state where they existed in multiple realities simultaneously. "It's like Schrodinger's cat," he explained to the team. "The ship exists and doesn't exist at the same time until an observer forces it into one state or the other." Kevin made an even more important discovery about human compatibility with the technology. "Our brain patterns are naturally chaotic," he explained. "We think in contradictions and paradoxes all the time. What drove the Voidwalkers insane might actually be natural for us." Commander Phillips was already designing test protocols for human pilots. If Dr. Walsh is right, then we might be the only species in the galaxy that can actually use this technology safely. Admiral Hayes listened to their reports with growing interest. "How long before we can build a prototype?" she asked. "Give us 3 months," Dr. Turner replied. "Maybe less if we can solve the power requirements." Outside Luna Base, long-range sensors detected massive hegemony fleet movements. Commander Zeftar had convinced his superiors that humans posed a threat to galactic security and must be stopped before they could master ancient weapons. The race was on to complete their work before the aliens arrived in force. As Jake watched the scientists and engineers work, he couldn't help but wonder if they were opening a door that should have stayed closed. The Voidwalkers had been the most advanced species in galactic history, and something had still destroyed them. Now humans were about to follow in their footsteps and discover whether they could succeed where their predecessors had failed. 3 months of sleepless nights and endless calculations finally paid off when Dr. Turner announced that the prototype was ready for testing. The research team had converted a standard Federation stealth frigate into something completely new, and they called it the UNS Dark Thunder. The ship looked ordinary from the outside, but hidden beneath its hull was technology that could change the course of galactic history. Commander Ryan Phillips stood in the dark, Thunder's modified bridge, examining the alien control systems that human engineers had somehow managed to integrate with their own technology. The Voidwalker interfaces had been simplified and redesigned to work with human neural patterns, but they still looked strange and unsettling to anyone who saw them for the first time. "Are you sure about this, Ryan?" Admiral Hayes asked as she watched the final preparations. "We still don't fully understand all the risks involved with this technology." Ryan grinned and adjusted his flight suit. "Admiral, I've test-flown experimental ships that most people said would never get off the ground. This is just another day at the office for me." Lisa Parker had volunteered to serve as his tactical officer, despite Jake's objections about the danger. She was studying the weapons systems that Dr. Turner's team had modified to work, while the ship was phased between dimensions. "Everything looks good from my station," she reported, "though I have to admit these controls are unlike anything I've trained on." The rest of the crew included navigation specialist Maria Santos and systems engineer Ben Clark. Both were experienced officers who had volunteered for the mission, knowing they might not survive if something went wrong with the untested technology. Dr. Kevin Walsh monitored the dimensional readings from Luna Base while Dr. Turner watched the quantum field generators that made the whole system possible. "Remember that prolonged exposure to dimensional phasing can cause temporal displacement effects," Kevin warned over the communications link. "Try to limit your first test to no more than 10 minutes. "Understood," Ryan replied as he activated the ship's systems. Beginning Phase 1 of the test sequence. The Dark Thunder's engines hummed to life with a sound unlike any normal spacecraft. The quantum field generators created a low-frequency vibration that seemed to resonate in the bones of everyone aboard. Ryan felt a strange tingling sensation as the dimensional interface systems came online and connected with his neural patterns. "All systems showing green," Ben reported from his engineering station. "Quantum field stability is holding at 98%. Initiating Phantom Protocol." Ryan announced. What happened next defied everything that human science thought it knew about reality. The dark thunder began to fade from normal spacetime like a ghost becoming transparent. On Luna Base, the tracking stations watched in amazement as the ship simply vanished from all sensor readings. Inside the dark thunder, the crew experienced something that no human had ever felt before. They could see through the hull of their ship and watch the stars beyond, but everything looked different. Colors shifted and changed while space itself seemed to ripple like water. Ryan felt like he was existing in two places at once, and the sensation was both terrifying and exhilarating. "This is incredible," Lisa whispered as she watched her tactical displays show readings that should have been impossible. "We're completely invisible to all known sensor types, but I can still target anything around us." Maria was having similar experiences at her navigation station. "I'm reading our position as both here and not here at the same time," she reported with wonder in her voice. "It's like we exist in multiple realities simultaneously." Ryan tested the ship's movement capabilities and discovered they could pass through solid matter like it wasn't even there. When he carefully maneuvered the dark thunder through a nearby asteroid, the rocky mass offered no resistance at all. They were literally existing between the spaces that normal matter occupied. "Ben, how are the systems holding up?" Ryan asked. "Everything is stable, but I'm seeing some strange readings," Ben replied while studying his displays. "The ship's chronometer is showing time fluctuations. It's like we're experiencing time differently than the outside universe." After 8 minutes, Ryan decided to end the test before they encountered any serious problems. "Deactivating Phantom Protocol," he announced. The dark thunder shimmered back into normal spacetime with a sensation like falling into cold water. Suddenly, the crew could feel the familiar weight of reality around them again, and the strange double vision effect disappeared. On Luna Base, the tracking stations immediately picked up their signal again. Dark thunder. "This is Luna Base," came Dr. Turner's excited voice. "How do you feel? Any side effects from the dimensional phasing?" Ryan checked with his crew before responding. Everyone reported feeling slightly disoriented but otherwise fine. "We're all good down here," he transmitted. "And the capabilities of this system are beyond anything we imagined." Admiral Hayes was practically glowing with satisfaction when the dark thunder docked an hour later. "Excellent work, everyone," she said as the crew disembarked. "But I'm afraid we don't have time to celebrate. Long-range sensors have detected a massive hegemony fleet moving toward Federation space." Jake felt his stomach drop. "How massive?" he asked. "Over 500 ships, including their newest battle cruisers," Admiral Hayes replied grimly. "Commander Zeftar has convinced the Hegemony High Council that humans with Voidwalker technology pose an existential threat to galactic security." Dr. Turner looked worried. "Admiral, we only have one prototype ship. Even with its capabilities, the Dark Thunder can't face an entire fleet alone. Which is why we need to accelerate our production schedule," Admiral Hayes said firmly. "I'm authorizing emergency construction of modified Phantom systems for our fastest ships. We may not be able to build full Phantom drives quickly enough, but we can create limited-use versions." Kevin was already thinking about the tactical possibilities. Phantom burst systems, he suggested. Devices that can provide short periods of dimensional phasing. Not as capable as a full Phantom drive, but much faster to manufacture. "How fast?" Admiral Hayes asked. "Give us 2 weeks and we can outfit 50 ships with basic Phantom burst capability," Dr. Turner estimated. Ryan was studying the tactical reports about the approaching Hegemony fleet. "Admiral, I have an idea. While your teams work on the Phantom burst systems, let me take the Dark Thunder on a reconnaissance mission. We need to know exactly what we're facing, and this ship can get intelligence that no conventional vessel could gather." "Too dangerous," Admiral Hayes replied immediately. "The Dark Thunder is our only fully functional prototype. If we lose it, we lose everything." "With respect, Admiral, if we don't gather intelligence about their fleet positions and capabilities, we're going to lose anyway," Ryan argued. "The Dark Thunder can phase through their defensive screens and gather the information we need to plan an effective defense." Lisa stepped forward. "I volunteer to go with him, Admiral. My tactical experience could be valuable for assessing their fleet strength." Admiral Hayes considered the proposal for several long minutes, while the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Finally, she nodded. "Very well, but you have 72 hours maximum. Get in, get the intelligence we need, and get out before they even know you were there." Ryan and Lisa spent the next 12 hours planning their mission while Dr. Turner's team made final. Modifications to the Dark Thunder's systems. They would penetrate deep into hegemony. Space gather detailed intelligence about fleet, positions and defensive capabilities, and return with the information needed to plan humanity's defense as the Dark Thunder prepared to depart. Luna Base, everyone involved knew they were taking an enormous gamble. The ship represented humanity's best hope for survival, but it was also their most valuable asset. If Ryan and Lisa failed to return, the technology might be lost forever. Remember that you're not just carrying the hopes of humanity, Admiral Hayes told them during the final briefing. You're carrying proof that humans can master technology that defeated its creators. Don't let us down. The Dark Thunder activated its Phantom Protocol and vanished from normal spacetime, beginning a journey into the heart of enemy territory. Behind them, the frantic work of preparing humanity's defenses continued, while ahead lay the most dangerous reconnaissance mission in galactic history. The Dark Thunder moved through hegemony space like a ghost hunting its prey. Ryan kept the ship phased between dimensions as they approached the enemy fleet positions that Federation intelligence had detected 3 days earlier. The experience of existing partially outside normal reality was becoming easier for the crew, but it still felt like living in a strange dream. I'm reading massive energy signatures ahead, Lisa reported from her tactical station. Whatever the hegemony has assembled, it's bigger than our intelligence estimates suggested. Ryan carefully maneuvered the Dark Thunder closer to the source of the readings while staying phased to avoid detection. What they found when they emerged from behind a small moon made both of them gasp in shock. Spread across the star system were not 500 hegemony ships, but over 2,000 vessels of every size and class. This isn't just a fleet, Lisa whispered as she recorded everything her sensors could detect. This is the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. The hegemony had gathered warships from dozens of allied species. Krillian battlecruisers floated alongside Xanthari destroyers and Vorthon assault carriers. At the center of the formation was Commander Zeftar's flagship, a massive dreadnought that dwarfed every other vessel in the fleet. Look at those defensive positions. Ryan pointed to his navigation display. They've got overlapping shield generators and sensor networks covering every approach route. Any conventional attack would be suicide. Lisa was analyzing the tactical data when she noticed something disturbing. Ryan, these ships aren't just preparing to attack Federation territory. Look at their formation patterns and supply configurations. Ryan studied the data and felt his blood run cold. They're planning to occupy and hold territory, not just raid it. This is a full-scale invasion designed to wipe out human settlements completely. We need to get closer to their command ship, Lisa said grimly. If we can intercept their communication traffic, we might learn their exact battle plans. Ryan activated the Phantom Protocol to its maximum setting and guided the Dark Thunder directly toward the heart of the enemy fleet. They passed through the hulls of hegemony vessels like they were made of mist, while alien crews went about their duties completely unaware that human eyes were watching their every move. The experience of phasing through enemy ships was both fascinating and terrifying. Ryan could see Krillian warriors preparing their weapons while Xanthari technicians worked on sensor arrays designed to detect human vessels. The aliens moved with the confidence of a species that had never faced a real challenge to their military superiority. There, Lisa pointed to a section of Zeftar's flagship. That looks like their main communications center. If we can get close enough, I might be able to tap into their transmissions. Ryan carefully positioned the Dark Thunder inside the alien command ship's communication array. The sensation of existing inside solid matter while remaining undetected felt like the ultimate violation of natural law, but their mission was too important to worry about philosophical questions. Lisa worked quickly to interface with the hegemony communication systems using techniques that Dr. Turner's team had developed specifically for this mission. I'm getting something, she announced after several tense minutes. They're using quantum encryption, but our computers are breaking through. The intercepted messages revealed the true scope of the hegemony's plans. They intended to strike simultaneously at Earth Luna Base and 12 major human colonies. The attack would begin in just 6 days and would involve not just military targets but civilian populations as well. They're planning genocide, Lisa said with horror in her voice. Zeftar has convinced the Hegemony High Council that humans are too dangerous to be allowed to exist. Ryan felt rage building inside him as he read the intercepted communications. The aliens spoke about exterminating humanity like they were discussing pest control. To them, humans were nothing more than clever animals who had stumbled onto technology they didn't deserve. Look at this. Lisa highlighted another section of the communications data. They've detected traces of dimensional phasing technology in the debris from our escape at the asteroid field. They know we have some version of Voidwalker capabilities. Which explains why they're so determined to destroy us, Ryan replied. They're afraid of what humans might do with that technology. As they gathered more intelligence, Ryan noticed something else about the hegemony fleet that troubled him. Many of the ships showed signs of hasty modifications and jury-rigged weapon systems. They're scared, he realized. This isn't just military conquest, this is panic. Lisa was downloading everything their systems could capture when alarms began sounding throughout the alien command ship. Ryan, we need to leave now, she said urgently. I think they're detecting some kind of quantum disturbance from our presence. Ryan immediately began, withdrawing the Dark Thunder from the enemy vessel. But not before Lisa managed to download one final piece of crucial intelligence. Hidden deep in the hegemony communication networks was a reference to something called the Voidwalker homeworld and coordinates for a system that wasn't supposed to exist. The hegemony has found the original Voidwalker planet, Lisa announced as they escaped from the enemy fleet. According to these files, it contains the master control systems for all Phantom technology. Ryan felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of master control systems? I'm not sure, but the hegemony seems to believe they can use it to shut down any human vessels equipped with Phantom technology, Lisa replied while studying the data. If they get control of those systems, our ships would be helpless. The Dark Thunder raced back toward Federation space, carrying intelligence that would change everything about humanity's defensive plans. The hegemony wasn't just planning to destroy human military forces. They were preparing to eliminate the entire species before they could master Voidwalker technology. There's something else, Lisa said as she continued analyzing the intercepted communications. The hegemony has been studying Voidwalker ruins for over a century. They know things about that ancient race that we haven't discovered yet. Such as? Ryan asked. The Voidwalkers didn't just disappear, Lisa read from her display. According to hegemony research, they evolved beyond physical existence and became something else entirely. Something that exists permanently between dimensions. Ryan thought about the strange sensations he experienced while using the Phantom protocol and wondered if humans were following the same path as their ancient predecessors. Are we walking into the same trap that destroyed the Voidwalkers, he asked. Maybe, Lisa replied honestly. But we don't have a choice. If we don't master this technology, the hegemony will exterminate us. If we do master it, we might lose our humanity in the process. As the Dark Thunder approached Federation space, Ryan made a decision that would affect the future of his entire species. We're going to the Voidwalker homeworld, he announced. If there are master control systems there, we need to reach them before the hegemony does. That's insane, Lisa protested. We don't know what we'll find there or if we'll be able to survive whatever destroyed the original inhabitants. The alternative is watching our entire species get wiped out by aliens who think we're too primitive to deserve existence, Ryan replied firmly. I'd rather die trying to save humanity than live, knowing I could have made a difference. Dark Thunder changed course toward the coordinates Lisa had discovered. While behind them, the massive hegemony fleet continued its preparations for humanity's destruction. The race was on to reach the Voidwalker homeworld and unlock the final secrets of the Phantom protocol before it was too late. Time was running out for both the human species and their mysterious alien predecessors who had faced a similar choice thousands of years ago. Now Ryan and Lisa would discover whether humanity could succeed where the Voidwalkers had failed, or whether they would share the same fate as the galaxy's former masters. The Voidwalker homeworld appeared on the Dark Thunder's sensors like a ghost from the distant past. The planet was shrouded in strange energy fields that made it difficult to scan properly, and Ryan felt an unsettling sensation as they approached the ancient world. Everything about this place seemed wrong, as if reality itself was damaged here. The readings are incredible, Lisa said from her tactical station. The entire planet is existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. No wonder the hegemony hasn't been able to land there yet. Ryan guided the Dark Thunder through the planet's orbital defenses, which turned out to be automated systems that had been running for 50,000 years. The ancient technology recognized their Phantom capabilities and allowed them to pass, but Ryan wondered what would have happened to conventional ships that tried to approach. The surface of the Voidwalker homeworld was a maze of crystalline structures that stretched beyond the horizon. Massive towers reached toward the sky while geometric patterns covered every surface with designs that hurt to look at directly. The architecture seemed to exist in more than 3 dimensions, making it almost impossible to understand. There, Lisa pointed to a structure at the center of the largest city. Energy readings suggest that's the main control facility. If master systems exist anywhere, they would be in that building. Ryan landed the Dark Thunder near the towering structure and activated the ship's external sensors. The atmosphere was breathable, but filled with quantum particles that made everything shimmer and shift. Remember what Kevin said about prolonged exposure to dimensional effects, he warned Lisa. We need to move fast. They entered the alien building through what appeared to be a doorway but might have been something else entirely. The interior was even more disturbing than the outside, with corridors that twisted through impossible angles and rooms that seemed to exist inside other rooms. Ryan felt dizzy trying to navigate the maze-like structure. This way, Lisa said, following her tricorder readings toward the strongest energy source. But Ryan, something feels wrong about this place. It's like we're being watched. As they moved deeper into the building, Ryan began to understand what had happened to the Voidwalkers. The walls were covered with symbols and images showing the ancient race's gradual transformation from physical beings into something else. The final images showed creatures that were barely recognizable as the original species. They didn't die, Ryan realized as he studied the pictographs. They evolved beyond physical existence and became pure consciousness existing between dimensions. Look at this, Lisa called from across the chamber. She was standing before a massive control system that filled an entire wall. The interface was unlike anything they had seen before, with crystals that pulsed with inner light and symbols that seemed to move when viewed directly. Ryan approached the control system and felt a strange tingling in his mind. The Voidwalker technology was trying to communicate with him through direct neural contact. Images flooded his consciousness, showing him the true history of the ancient race and their ultimate fate. The Voidwalkers had mastered dimensional travel, but discovered that using the technology gradually separated their consciousness from their physical bodies. At first the effect was minor, but over generations they became less and less connected to normal reality. Eventually they existed more in the space between dimensions than in the real universe. They're still here, Ryan whispered, as understanding dawned. The Voidwalkers didn't disappear, they just stopped existing in our dimension. They're all around us, but we can't see them. Lisa was working frantically to understand the control systems. Ryan, I think I can access the master protocols, but there's something else here. The hegemony has been trying to break into these systems for decades, and they've left behind monitoring devices. Before Ryan could respond, the building around them began to shake. Through the crystalline walls, they could see hegemony ships landing outside, while armed soldiers poured from their transports. Commander Zeftar had found them and was preparing to claim the Voidwalker technology for himself. How much time do you need? Ryan asked while checking his weapon. At least 10 minutes to download the master control codes, Lisa replied without looking up from the alien interface. But Ryan, there's something you need to know. These systems aren't just for controlling phantom technology. They're designed to merge consciousness with the dimensional matrix. What does that mean? Ryan asked while watching hegemony soldiers enter the building. It means using these controls will change us permanently, Lisa explained. We'll gain complete mastery over dimensional technology, but we might lose our humanity in the process. Ryan thought about the approaching hegemony fleet and the genocide they planned to commit against his species. We don't have a choice, he said firmly. If we don't use this technology, humanity dies anyway. The sound of alien weapons fire echoed through the corridors as hegemony forces fought their way toward the control chamber. Ryan could hear Commander Zeftar's voice ordering his soldiers to capture the humans alive, so they could be interrogated about human phantom capabilities. I've got it, Lisa announced as the download completed. But Ryan, the system is asking for a consciousness interface. Someone has to directly connect with the Voidwalker matrix to activate the master controls. I'll do it, Ryan said without hesitation. You don't understand? Lisa protested. The person who interfaces with this system might not come back unchanged. You could end up like the Voidwalkers, trapped between dimensions forever. Ryan placed his hand on the crystalline interface and felt the alien technology reaching into his mind. Better to be changed than to be dead, he said. Besides, someone has to make sure humanity survives to face whatever comes next. The moment Ryan's consciousness touched the Voidwalker matrix, everything changed. He could suddenly perceive all dimensions simultaneously and understand the true nature of reality. The Phantom technology wasn't just about hiding ships, it was about transcending the limitations of physical existence. Through the dimensional network, Ryan could see every human ship equipped with Phantom technology across the galaxy. He could also see the massive hegemony fleet preparing for their final assault on Federation space. With a thought, he activated every human Phantom system, simultaneously creating a coordinated response that no enemy could have anticipated. Human vessels appeared throughout hegemony space like vengeful spirits materializing from nightmares. They struck at supply lines, command ships, and support facilities with devastating effectiveness. The aliens had prepared for conventional warfare, but they had no defense against enemies who could appear anywhere at any time. The Battle of Earth lasted only 6 hours. Human ships equipped with Phantom burst systems phased through hegemony defensive screens and attacked from impossible angles. The alien fleet found themselves fighting ghosts that could strike without warning and disappear before return fire could be targeted. Commander Zeftar's flagship tried to retreat when he realized his forces were being systematically destroyed, but the Dark Thunder appeared directly in front of him. Lisa had taken command of the ship after Ryan's transformation, and she offered the Krillian commander a simple choice: surrender or be destroyed. 6 months later, Admiral Patricia Hayes stood on the observation deck of Luna Base, watching human vessels patrol the surrounding space. The ships moved with an otherworldly grace that marked them as something new in galactic history. They were no longer quite human technology, but they were undeniably human in spirit. Ryan had survived his connection to the Voidwalker matrix, but he was changed. He could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously and communicate with the consciousness fragments of the ancient race that still lingered between realities. He had become something between human and Voidwalker, a bridge between two species separated by 50,000 years. The hegemony had surrendered unconditionally after learning what human crews could accomplish with fully mastered Phantom technology. Other alien species regarded the new human capabilities with a mixture of awe and terror. Humanity had proven that they could not only master technology that had destroyed its creators, but evolve it into something even more powerful. The Dark Thunder continued its patrols through dimensions that other species couldn't even perceive. Its crew had learned to navigate the spaces between realities while maintaining their essential humanity. They were no longer quite the same species that had first discovered Voidwalker technology, but they were still recognizably human in their determination and adaptability. Ryan often wondered if they had made the right choice in embracing the alien technology so completely. But when he looked at Earth, still blue and green and alive in normal space, he knew that some prices were worth paying. Humanity had survived by becoming something new, and the galaxy would never underestimate them again.